But the next step, but see, my biggest concern is this, because we've just discussed this. Big company, if you're putting billions of dollars into the market, I don't think you're dumb. Like, I think you probably have some pretty good idea what's going on, and you have some pretty good idea of what the value of what you have is as well. So for the listeners or for myself that isn't as educated as these big companies, how do you not overpay? Like, I mean, are there safety nets? Do you have suggestions? Not falling into that trap of overpaying, because they know what they're doing. No matter how much research I do, they know better than I do. So how do you prevent it?
Right. So they definitely have, for sure, they definitely have the resources. They've got plenty of, those little computer nerd minions out there crunching all the numbers, right, and figuring that stuff out. But one of the great things with real estate is time, and so here's the thing: in real estate, time actually heals most mistakes, corrections in the market, whatever it is, I mean, we go back, and I'm looking at we spoke to hundreds and hundreds of owners during the housing crash, and when we did the math, the answer was really pretty clear: just stay in the house, don't sell it. Mm-hmm. Because again, it goes back to, well, you got to live somewhere. Yeah, your home did go down in value, but you don't have to take the loss. Right. Just stay put. Because for most families, going out and living under the overpass is not a plan B.
No.
Just not what they're going to do. It's like, I got a pretty decent house. Okay, yeah, it's worth $50,000 less than I paid. But if I stay here for 10 more years or 15 years, will it go up? And, well, since 2008, I would say, yeah, it actually did. Everything has pretty much exceeded even the highs that we had back in the heydays, right? Mm-hmm. And so time does pretty much, heal those type of situations. Where you run into situations is where it's a must move, like a job relocation. Like, hey, if you want your job, it's in Tennessee, so and you can't commute from there, right?
No.
And so those are the tough ones where it's not really a choice. Or you don't feel like you have a choice. But, we turned a lot of those homes into investment properties. The owners went ahead and, moved to Tennessee, and we took the home that they were in, and we turned it into an investment property, and we, just rented the property out because they were upside down. And another safety factor in there is you got to remember every single month you're paying down the loan balance too, mm-hmm. right? So eventually, if the market shifts and whatever, let's just say the value drops, every month you're paying down the loan. So eventually it's going to get to zero. You're not going to owe anything. And yeah, you would be able to sell it, But one thing too to consider right now is that 15-year loan. If you're buying a home or if you're thinking about refinancing, because rates are, still just amazing. Actually, just creeped a little bit under 3% again last week, Keith. So wow. They're getting good again. But if you had that 15-year option, that's helping you build equity really, really, really quick. And there's several million people that should probably take advantage of that, just because it's affordable. And it just, you can build equity way faster in a 15-year loan than you can on a 30. That's just simply it. But you can get in a situation where you at least are paying down the mortgage and you're building equity yourself. Yes, you may not make any money on the house, but if you owe nothing or you owe little, you could still sell it.
Right.
That's the key. And that I think is where, when I go back and look at the crash 2008, I would say most all the loans that we were doing short sales with, most of them are, I'd say, all of them are 30-year, but they were really, really small down payment loans. Some of them even 100% loans. So they had no equity to start with, and then the market shifted, and now you're $30,000 underwater. Well, I'm not rocket science here. If you didn't have any money to buy it, you're probably not going to have any money to what? Sell it.
Right.
And so we just had to transition a lot of those folks either into what we call the short sale process, or If they didn't want to do a short sale, then we would move them into an area where, okay, this is going to be your first rental home, and we're going to rent this house out for the next, 5 or 10 years until the market comes back and corrects, and then you can sell. And that's what a lot of them did. It was not it actually wasn't a bad thing for many of them, and I actually know some guys that ended up converting their primary residence and then ended up actually buying 2 or 3 more other homes that were either in short sale or foreclosure, and they ended up with 3 or 4 rental properties. So just lots of different options. Yes, there's still always that fear of overpaying, but again, if it's going to be your primary residence and you're looking at 10-year, 15, 20-year period of time, in my opinion, you're probably going to be okay. And then here's the other thing. Let's just say it was 20 years, Keith. If in 20 years you couldn't sell your home for what you purchased, we got a lot bigger problems.
Yeah, something's going on.
We got there's way more bigger problems out there. So